All right, so let's move on to the second example. We're going to determine the exact value of each. Draw diagrams to illustrate your answers. So the first one will be the cosine of pi over 3. I'm going to draw the unit circle. Then I'm going to locate where pi over 3 is. Pi over 3 is the one up top, so that's pi over 3. And now I ask myself, what is the x-coordinate, right? Cosine is the x-coordinate. What is the x-coordinate for pi over 3? 1/2. And how did I get that so easily? Well, I see that pi over 3 is really close to the y-axis, and the y-axis has the equation x is equal to 0. So what is the number closest to 0? It's 1/2, because I'm just slightly a little bit away from 0. Let's move on to the next example. The sine of negative pi over 6. How I start off is I draw a picture. I know that the question tells you to do that. I find it's good practice. It allows whomever is looking at your work to see inside what you're thinking and correct it. So I locate where negative pi over 6 is. Well, negative pi over 6 is that angle that is closest to the x-axis. And I notice it's in quadrant number 4. So sine is going to be negative. Now, this will have a value of negative 1/2. Another way to locate where the angle negative pi over 6 is simply locate where positive pi over 6 is and reflect it about the x-axis. And that's where negative pi over 6 will be. And that's true for all angles. All right, moving on to the third example, the cotangent of negative pi over 4. Now, it's a little bit odd that that negative sign's there, but order of operations indicates that that would probably be applied to the angle. So the cotangent of negative pi over 4, I'm just going to write down that's what it means. Yep, there we are. Not cosine, cotangent. So now I'm going to draw the unit circle. Negative pi over 4 is that angle that is right smack dab in the middle. And depending on how you're looking at this, you can think of it as 1 over the tangent value of negative pi over 4. Or you can think of it as the cosine of negative pi over 4 divided by the sine of negative pi over 4. It's really your choice. Whichever one you feel more comfortable. I'm going to ask myself, well, tangent in quadrant number 4, remember that tangent is slope. So tangent is going to be negative in quadrant number 4. The tangent of the pi over 4 family is 1. So here, this value is going to be the reciprocal of negative 1, which is negative 1. Similarly, you could have figured out the cos of negative pi over 4, and that's 1 over root 2. The sine of negative pi over 4 is negative 1 over root 2. And this also equals to negative 1. All right. Heading my stride here now. The cosecant of 5 pi over 6. Now, the cosecant of 5 pi over 6. Immediately, what I'm going to do, and I think that it's good for everyone, every one of these ratios, is to convert it into the reciprocal immediately. There. And that's by definition. So I'm going to draw my unit circle. I'm going to ask myself, where's 5 pi over 6? Well, 6 pi over 6 is right here. The pi over 6 family is the family that is closest to the x-axis, so my angle's right there. So that's where 5 pi over 6 is. I ask myself, what is the y value? And y is equal to 0 all along the x-axis. So it's only one notch up, correct? That's the angle that is closest. So sine is positive, so it's going to be 1. And sine of 5 pi over 6 is 1/2. So this results in 2.